Hello, welcome to ESL 1331, Listening and Speaking 3. I'm really looking forward to getting to meet you next week. And I know we won't get to meet face-to-face, at least not in person face-to-face, but we will get to meet on Zoom. And all of the information about getting onto our Zoom call is available on the sheet that should have been sent. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you got that sheet because that's where the link is. And so we'll get to meet there next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. So looking forward to that. And then after the semester, I'm not sure if you'll all be done with ESL or not. Some of you may have reading, writing, or grammar left, but you're getting to the end here with level 3. So congratulations on that. Wanted to first just let you know I'm very much, as I said, looking forward to getting to know you this semester. It'll be a little different with an all online class. This past spring, as I'm sure some of you did, if you were in classes in the spring, everything went online all of a sudden. And when that happened, I think a lot of the teachers said, what are we going to do? And a lot of the students were like, what are we going to do? And it worked really well. And just talking with the students that I had, we really enjoyed the move to online. I found that for a lot of the students, it actually worked better in a lot of ways because I will be giving you a lot of our class material via video. Instead of doing it in class time, we'll try to shorten up the class time a bit, and a lot of the content when I need to be talking to you will be like this, via video. And what I found, I hadn't thought about this, is some of the students, especially those who really wanted to do well, were actually watching all or parts of those videos over and over again. Like maybe there's a spot on pronunciation related, and they might watch that again and imitate it and things. So it worked well to give opportunities for that. And some people just like being online. I know some of you are younger and you may prefer the online environment. There is something that I know it's nice to have that face-to-face, go into the classroom, you get to talk with your classmates, and you and I can talk. I look forward to those times of meeting before class or after class to have time to talk, answer questions, and just to get to know people, not even class related. So I would like to still have that as we have our online class here, that as we either show up a little before class. I know that can sometimes be tough to have much before class, but to have some time after class, if you have questions or anything you want to talk about, I'm very happy to meet with you then. As well as there is that app, the Band app, which I know some of you are already signed up, some aren't, and we'll hopefully all get on there pretty quickly here before the semester starts. But that's also a great place to let me know if you have a question, a comment, and we can talk there as well. So I am looking forward to connecting with you. I will let you know a little bit about myself. I feel sort of strange being the only one talking right now, but well, I'll get to know you throughout the semester and we'll get to know each other. But I did want to let you know first, you're welcome to just call me Rob. Everybody calls me Rob. If your culture doesn't allow that, you can call me Mr. Gall, I guess. I taught middle school English for a short time before I left for China, between college and when I moved to China. And the students there at middle school did call me Mr. Gall, so I guess that's fine. But most of my students just call me Rob, and that's fine. And I did mention that I did teach some middle school English, and I won't go into all the details of all that happened. It was very short term, and I loved it. The school actually asked me to stay, but I was off to China, and just I knew that that's where God was calling me to. So I did live in China then for 10 years. And before moving to, or I guess once I moved to China, I was teaching at the college, Yangzhou University, actually, in China. I'm teaching English there. And then after teaching for a while, actually 3 years, yes, that's right, 3 years of teaching there, I knew I needed to learn the language. I knew very basic Chinese at that point because my job, my goal, what I was there for wasn't to learn Chinese. It was to help my students learn English. So I pretty much, they might teach me a word or two, but I basically refused to have them speak Chinese with me. And I, just like now, if I have students in class who speak Chinese, they've never heard me speak Chinese. I am semi-fluent in Chinese. There's more to learn. There's always more to learn in a language, as I'm sure you know, but I can get by okay. And so then after 3 years of teaching English at the college level, I went to language school. I moved way up to the north of China and went to language school for 1 year. Yeah. and very intense year. And during that year, I wanted the language. I knew I wanted it, I needed it. And my whole life switched to being in Chinese. And I pretty much did everything in Chinese except for Sunday evenings. Sunday afternoon to evening was more of an English time. I had a small group of people I met with, and a little bit of English time during the week. But most of my friends, everybody, it was all Chinese, and that was great. And actually, one person that helped me, probably more than any class I took, was a lady that she, a lady older than me, a lot older. She ran a fruit stand near my building. And I would go down there, and she and some of her friends would hang out, and they just thought I was a riot, this foreigner who would come and say silly words in Chinese and had a horrible accent and all of that. And they were so patient because I guess they had nothing else to do but sit there and sell fruit. So they really helped me a lot. It was just having those connections in the culture. And I think you'll find that same as well. If you can get out and meet with people where language isn't just a classroom activity, but an activity that is meaningful for relationship, for getting to know people. That's very valuable. And I know with everything shutting down, it's tough to do, but things are opening up now, so that'll be good. But anyhow, I did teach in China at the college, and then after language school, I continued to live up in that northern area, and I went to teach at a different university, and I was actually teaching professors and doctors, doctorate, not all medical doctors, that were going abroad to be specialists in their fields around the world. And they were a fun group. They were, I think, all older than I was, and some of them quite a bit older than I was, and very motivated. I like to joke with them that I didn't even need to show up for class, and they would work hard with nobody there, because that was just who they were. And they wanted the language. And I know some of you really want that language. For some of you, it might be you just need to take a class, you need to take the ESL. And I'd like to know that. Where are you on that? And there's no right or wrong answer on that. Just different people are at different places and have different needs. So I'd like to know, what are your needs and what are your goals for this class? And we'll talk about that. So I taught with them, and then I ended up moving back down south a little bit to where I had originally taught at the college, and I taught elementary school there. So I went from the doctors, they're older than me, to elementary, first and second grade actually, and that was a lot of fun. We would do dances around the classroom and sing songs in English and make up chants to help them learn vocabulary. So a very different atmosphere, and I loved that as well. They were all great. And then my wife and I moved back to the States. And we weren't necessarily expecting to move back at that point, but just some things, we moved back to the States. And that's when I started teaching at Tri-C. So that would have been about 9 or 10 years ago now. So I've been teaching at Tri-C for, I think, nine and a half years, I guess. And just love it here. The school's great. I love getting to know the students. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you. And yeah, so I do have a question for you, though. And I obviously can't get an answer right now because you're watching a video. But something to think about. Some of you may love learning languages. It comes easily. It comes easily. It's more natural for you. And for some of you, it's a struggle to learn a language. So I'd like you to think for a moment. Who are you? Are you more of one of those ones that it's easy to learn a language, it comes natural, it's fun, whatever? Or is it one more that maybe you enjoy it, but it's tough, whatever, it's a tough thing? Yeah, so I'll tell you where I am. For me, languages are tough. They're hard to learn. I actually, when I was in high school, I took French, I took Latin, and then in college, I took a semester of Spanish, actually at Tri-C over a summer break from my college. I took a semester of Spanish class. And people sometimes think, wow, you must love languages. Why did you take so many languages? It's because it was hard for me. And level 1 wasn't so bad, level 2 wasn't so bad, but it was known that level 3 was killer. And I didn't want to ever get to level 3. So the requirement was either take 3 years of one languages or 2 years of this and 2 years of that. So I'm like, hey, I'll go broad. So that's what I did. Languages are tough for me, especially I didn't know anybody who spoke French. It wasn't for communication. It wasn't useful. It was just academics. And Latin is a dead language. So there's no one who speaks that, although it's a base for a lot of other languages, including English. But so it wasn't real to me. And that may be for some of you, or you struggle with languages, and I understand that. So if you struggle, don't be embarrassed to let me know that. I love questions. If you have questions, if you have problems, something's just difficult, you don't understand, let me know. I love helping. It's what I'm here for, is to help you improve your language and in life, not just language, but to help you if you have any questions. So, and then I ended up moving to China, as I mentioned. And after 3 years of just teaching, I decided I need to learn the language. And I went to language school and I worked hard. I won't kid you, I wanted that language and I worked really, really hard. I had one classmate, Chad, that I love Chad. He was great, great guy. I love him. We were great friends. But I'll tell you, he and I were night and day in terms of language learning. He would watch a movie 2 times. And after watching it 2 times, the teacher would come in and be like, wow, Chad, you learned all the vocabulary. And if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't know you weren't a Chinese. You sound just like a Chinese. And then there were 4 of us in the class. It was a very small class. And she talked to the other 2 and then saying, Rob, okay, it's good seeing you. Because I struggled. I did. But I worked hard and I did okay at it. But I had to put a lot of work in. And so some of you, it comes easily and you really just is great. Good for you. I'm sure there's other areas where you do struggle. We all have our different strengths and weaknesses. But wherever you are, we'll work together this semester. So that's a little bit of my background. And I am going to take over, well, I guess not take over your screens, but I am going to put something on the screen now so you can see along with me what I'm looking at. Some goals for this class. Make that a little bigger so it will look more clear on your screen. There we go. I put a statement there at the top, and it says goals. To provide direction and accountability to help you improve your English as a means to benefit you now and in preparation for where your life takes you in the future. You'll notice that the word help you are underlined. And one thing that I have really come to learn is I have seen students improve their English in tremendous ways throughout the class, tremendous ways. And I won't go all the stories right now, but even other people have commented to them on how much easier they are to understand and how they've improved. Just people really improving. And at the same time, there's nothing I can do to make you improve your English. I can't do it. It's not in my power. It's not in any other teacher's power either. We cannot make you improve your English. That falls entirely on you to improve your English. What is my job is to help you, as it says, to provide direction and accountability. I can show you where to go. I can tell you the assignments. And one promise I like to make is I will not give you a homework assignment just to give homework. I don't like wasting people's time, and I don't like wasting people's money, or anything else for that matter. Those are just 2 that come to mind with teaching. But and I don't want to give you homework just to give you homework. I've had teachers who did that, and I'm like, it's so frustrating. What's the point? So the homework assignments we have, the L2L, the note-taking, the classmate conversation, they're all there for a purpose. So I would like to ask you a favor. If something is not helping you, please talk to me. If it's, maybe we can change the assignment for you. Make it, adjust it so it will help you. But in reality, I've found over the years that most of the time, if it's not helping you, something's just not right. Maybe you're not doing something right. And we want to find those problems so we can help you get the most. We've got a short time here of your life that you're studying. Make the most of it. And I want to help you make the most of it. So I can give you direction and some accountability. There's grades. Grades are not my highest priority, helping you with your English and getting where you need to be. That's my higher priority, but I know there are grades associated, and for you, that is very important. I understand that. But it's up to you to improve your English. I can guide you, I can give you some accountability, but it's up to you to do it, and to work at it, and not to expect it overnight. It slowly builds, but as you do the work, as you do what needs done, you will see it. In just a short time, you can see amazing improvement. So again, to help you improve your English is a means to benefit you now. We want to see benefits now. We want to see things that you're learning, and not just learning a fact. I'm not so interested in teaching you facts that you know something, but to practice it, to learn it, to get it into your head to where it becomes habit. And that's one of our goals, is habit development. Not just to know about intonation, but to do it. Not just to know about thought groups and linking and blending and rhythm, but to have that become part of who you are, that you can do that more naturally. And in preparation for where your life takes you in the future. And you don't know where that's going to be. You may think you know where it's going to be, and maybe you're right, maybe it'll change. But to get you so where you're prepared with the language to do whatever it is that you're called to do and wherever you go. So a few details there. With listening, a goal is to speed up your listening to be able to listen, understand, and take notes, even when speakers are speaking quickly. That you don't have to say slow down, and it's not just, sometimes I know how it can be. You can hear someone talking and you can understand them. I remember this in Chinese, when I could understand everything that people were saying, but I couldn't process it that quickly. So if they asked me a question, I did understand you, but I couldn't process it, and I couldn't take notes in it. But we want to get you to where it's not just you can hear it and understand it, but you can actually process what's important and take good notes on it. That will be very useful for academics, but also that same skill to get you faster for communication in life. And part of that is, the subnote is there, is getting used to the rhythm patterns of English, the linking and the blending and all of that of English, to help that become not just that you know about it, but that it becomes part of who you are, is one of our goals. Also, to improve your listening in both social and academic situations. I found that some of you have been in the States for a while. Not all, some of you won't, but some of you come in very strong socially, that you can talk, we can have a conversation, you'll be fine. But sometimes those same people who are very strong socially struggle academically. Again, that listening, processing, taking notes, and using those notes can be difficult for some students, even those who have been in the States for a while and may be good socially. So we'll want to work on bridging that gap. Wherever you are, if you come in and you're struggling with the English, or if you're doing really well on the social side or the academic as well, the goal is to, wherever you are, to move you along, to be getting stronger and stronger, getting better and better. So that's a goal. As far as speaking, to improve your speaking, to be better understood and more pleasant to listen to. Sometimes people can speak in a way that people can understand all the words you say, but it just becomes hard to listen. The pauses are wrong, the rhythm's not quite right, or the intonation, that it just isn't, it's hard for people to listen, just to be honest there. And we want to work on that to get the more native sounding rhythm, intonation. Now, the question comes up of accents. Are we going to try to get rid of accents? Because some people are, I want to get rid of our accent, I just want to have a native sounding American accent. No, and I think a lot of the ESL teachers, professors, whatever, will agree with me that an accent is not a bad thing. It's part of who you are. It's part of your culture. It's part of who you are. And when people hear it, they know, okay, maybe you're from such and such a place. And that's not bad. But we want to get it to where it's not interfering with your being understood and your communication with people, where it can be an asset of part of who you are, a benefit, but not something that's harming you that people can't understand. So anyhow, and then overall, you may have picked this up, I've already referred to it, but that you'll develop a feel for the language. We want to help basically reprogram your English. Sometimes people will speak English with their own, the right words, but with your own rhythm and intonation. So where it sounds like you are speaking English in your own language. You probably know what I mean. And it's not just the accent, it's the way you speak, the rhythms, the intonation, everything there. So we want to help to reprogram your English to not just use and understand the words, but to actually have a feel for the language within American culture, that you can use it in a way that sounds more natural. Now, are you going to come out of class in this short period of time with being completely natural? No, but we want to get you moving strongly in that direction, that can continue to get a strong start. Our homework, there'll be a variety of different homework things, but there'll be 3 main homework assignments. And they will be repeated all semester, like the L2L you see on the screen, the note-taking, the classmate conversation. Those 3 things will be all semester. So I'm not going to always assign them and say it's due next week. It's just due every week. There'll be an L2L that's due. And basically the L2L, again, there's videos for all of these that explain them in more detail. Please watch those. If you don't have them, let me know and I'll get them to you. But that's listening to a short sound file and imitating it, imitating the rhythm, the intonation, all that. Okay, note taking. You're going to be listening to note sources. Again, watch the video. And you'll be listening, thinking, processing what's right, and writing, taking notes. all at the same time. You're not allowed to hit stop. You're not allowed to hit pause. You just keep going. And classmate conversation is where you'll be conversing with each other over the Band app that I've referred to. And that's where you can just talk with your classmates, talk with me, that we have an opportunity to speak frequently every day, even with people, even though we're not in class. Actually, my students last semester come in, we had a lot of time in class to speak English, but outside of class, they had very little opportunity. And once we moved to the online class, they said we actually have more opportunities to speak English and to practice. And they really liked that because of the Band app. And just things changed, and we adapted to it in ways that worked quite well. And the students agreed they worked quite well. Again, all three of those have YouTube videos. If you haven't watched those yet, watch them. If you don't know where they are, ask me any questions. There are no stupid questions. If it's something I already sent you and you just don't find it, let me know and I'll just send it to you again. So that's fine. There will be other assignments throughout the semester, usually shorter ones, smaller ones. Those are the three major things that will repeat all throughout the semester. Okay, I'm going to stop my sharing on my screen here. I did have one other thing I want to mention is we are taking online classes. I don't know you yet, but it is very possible that some of you have young children. I have young children. I have a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, he just turned 6, I almost said 5, a 2-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old, all boys. So you'll hear me talk about my wife and talk about my boys. They're right up above me right now, sleeping upstairs. And at least I hope they're sleeping. They better be sleeping, but they're very quiet either way. And that comes with its own struggles. And some of you will be home alone with your children during our class time. And I do understand that. So if that is you, let me know that really early on in the semester. I want to work with you and work for you. We want to make this work. And it might just mean muting a microphone. There may be times when you're in class and you have a child sitting on your lap, and we'll see the child and we'll smile, especially on the Zoom parts when we're all face-to-face. I do have power over the mute button. I can mute you. So if all of a sudden it gets really loud on your side, I can mute your microphone for you. And I'm usually pretty quick to that. And we'll do what we got to do. So I know you have a life, and we'll work around that life. So I wanted to set your mind at ease a little bit. Yes, it is hard. It's very difficult to be a parent, especially of a young child, and to be taking class. I'm not going to try to say it's easy. It's very, very difficult. But it can be done. It's been done, and we'll work together. So again, if you have young children, please let me know so I can talk to you individually, and we can make a plan for some things that are difficult for you there. So with that, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody next week, and I'd say have a great evening, because it's evening here now. But whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, have a great day, and we'll see you in a little over a week. Bye.